Blue Boy, The Life of Luis Rosado, from the LES to 39 years behind bars. A name feared in two worlds. In the underground history of New York's street and prison culture, few names carry the weight of Luis Blue Boy Rosado. To some, he's a survivor of one of the harshest environments imaginable. To others, he's one of the most violent men to come out of New York's prison system. His story stretches from the Lower East Side of Manhattan to nearly 4 decades behind bars, to the killing of the infamous Larry Davis, and then an unexpected return to the streets. This is the life of Blue Boy, a story of violence, identity, and a fight that never seemed to end. The Lower East Side. Luis Rosado grew up in the Lower East Side, a neighborhood known in the 1970s and 1980s for poverty, drugs, and tight-knit but troubled communities. His childhood was unstable. His father was incarcerated. His mother struggled to raise a large family. He spent years in group homes and juvenile facilities. By his early teens, Blue Boy was already immersed in street life. Fights, stabbings, and arrests became normal. He often says in interviews that he never felt fear, even as a kid, a trait that shaped every step of his future. Entering the prison system. Blue Boy was eventually sentenced to 25 years to life for murder and violent offenses. He entered New York State Prison as a very young man, and prison, instead of breaking him, turned him into someone even more dangerous. Inside, his reputation grew quickly. He fought often. He stabbed and was stabbed. He aligned with the Crips just to do it. Officers and inmates alike considered him unpredictable and extremely violent. Over the decades, he became known as someone who could not be intimidated, a lifer who had nothing to lose. The killing of Larry Davis, one moment in Blue Boy's life, became national news. Larry Davis was one of New York's most infamous criminals, known for a 1986 shootout where he survived gunfire from 6 NYPD officers. Davis became a symbol in the Bronx, admired by some, hated by others. On February 20th, 2008, at Shawangunk Correctional Facility, Davis was fatally stabbed. The man who killed him was Luis Blue Boy Rosado. Multiple stab wounds, a chaotic fight. Davis died in the prison yard. Blue Boy was charged with murder, later accepting a manslaughter plea that added 10 more years to his sentence. In interviews, he claims, "He wasn't the target. He jumped in, so I handled it." Whether true or not, that killing cemented Blue Boy's legend within the prison system. He became the man who killed the man who once shot it out with the NYPD. 39 years inside, Blue Boy would ultimately spend almost 4 decades in prison. During that time, he survived riots, he witnessed gang wars, he became a mentor to some younger inmates, and he became a cautionary tale for others. Prison shaped him, hardened him, and in some ways defined him. But he also claims to have changed, talking about growth, reflection, and wanting to leave violence behind. Whether that transformation was real remains part of the mystery of Luis Rosado, release and a short-lived freedom. In December 2021, after 39 years, Blue Boy finally walked out of prison. He appeared in interviews, podcasts, and Vlad TV, calmly telling the world about the life he survived. For a moment it looked like he had turned a corner, but freedom didn't last. Just months later, Blue Boy was arrested again, this time for attempted murder assault, illegal firearm possession in connection with a shooting outside a Manhattan cannabis shop. The headlines were blunt. Blue Boy, out after decades, is back behind bars. The cycle had repeated itself. A complex legacy. Luis Blue Boy Rosado's story is not simple. He is a product of poverty, a survivor of extreme violence, a feared figure in prison history. Someone wrestling with who he was and who he became. His life raises questions bigger than one man. What happens to a child raised in violence? Can a man change after 39 years in a cage? And what does freedom mean to someone who only understood survival? Blue Boy's story is not glamorous. It is not redemptive. It is not heroic. It's tragic. It's real. And it reflects the unseen war happening inside American prisons and the communities that feed them. A name built on survival. Luis Rosado's life is a reminder that some men become dangerous not because they wanted to, but because the world around them left no room for anything else. Whether he is remembered as a monster, a survivor, or a warning, depends on who tells the story. But one thing is certain: the legend of Blue Boy was forged in blood, built through fear, and carried through nearly 40 years of confinement. A name born in the streets and perfected behind steel doors.